All right, hello everyone. We are continuing. Now you can look in our website and you'll see that I put up the class from last year about the Chumash and also the class from last year about Torah Or. Because the Rebbe said you learn Torah Or, that'll help bring Moshiach, and that's what we want to do. But just remember the purpose of these classes and the purpose of the whole idea of Judaism in general and really the creation of the world is Moshiach. And the purpose of this classes is to make everybody a little bit crazy about Moshiach. And it should be a lot crazy. But the reason I say even a little bit is that I guess I'm only a little bit crazy. I can't expect more from you than from myself. Maybe I can. But the Rebbe says anyway, any second now, the whole world is going to change. Any second. This is not a fable or a religious, frenzy or something of vision. This is simple fact of business. Now the world is going to change. Moshiach is going to come. And everyone will be the way they're supposed to be. They'll feel value for life. They'll feel value for each other. They'll appreciate every moment of their existence. They'll look forward to making the right choices to, utilize the challenges in life to bring blessing into their lives and to the lives of all the people in the world. So that's what we need, blessing. There's enough sickness, and the world can get along very well without addictions and without sickness and without aggression and without wars and cheating and lying and stuff. The world can get along without those things. They are certainly not integral parts of creation. There's extra, uninvited aspects of life, negative aspects of life. I don't know what the media and the newspapers will do without those things, but we'll figure something out. We'll figure something. Here we go. Therefore, the world is waiting for Moshiach. Well, here we have an example in the Torah. The Jews left Egypt. The Jews left Egypt. Like we said so many times before, it was a totally unnecessary thing. None of the other religions have this, and all the other religions have millions, hundreds of millions, billions of followers, and they don't talk about all the followers who left Egypt. They were in prison. They got out. So we do. So the reason we have this is to teach us how to go out of Egypt. We have to go out of Egypt all the time. It's an integral part of Judaism. Just one moment, 1 minute over here. Now I know how to clean this thing. All right, bringing Mashiach. See as you do it is known. See as you do it is known. The Igeres HaKodesh, the holy letter from the Baal Shem Tov. Baal Shem Tov, Rabbi Yisrael Baal Shem, he lived 300 years ago. He is the founder of the Hasidic movement. What's the Hasidic movement? It's a movement to bring Mashiach. And here it goes. The Mashiach, the Baal Shem Tov, I guess he was 27 years old or something. I have to find out. It says, Wo es wird erzählt, where is told, there's a letter where the Baal Shem Tov relates. Where the Baal Shem Tov relates wegen sein Shiloh, regarding his question, was hat gefragt Mashiach. He asked the Mashiach a question. It says it was in Rosh Hashanah, and he felt that his soul went out of his body, and he went up to the chamber of Mashiach. And he asked the Mashiach the question, which is the same question that had been asked to the Mashiach about, 1,400 years earlier, 500, by Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Namely, we're waiting, we're going crazy, we want Mashiach, you have to come. Mashiach is going to be like Moses, is going to take us out of all of our problems. It's going to reveal our true potential. Emotai, when Ka'ati will come, Mar, Mister, in other words, you, when are you going to come? When Mashiach kommen, when is the Mashiach going to come? When the tshuva and the answer that the Mashiach gave to the Baal Shem Tov was a little bit different than what he gave 1,000 whatever years earlier to Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. To Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, he said, when everyone listens to my voice. But the Baal Shem Tov, he said, and that was why the Baal Shem Tov asked him. He said, listen, everybody's listening to God's voice. We're still Jews, despite all the disappointments and frustrations and suffering and murders that the non-Jews are doing to us. We still believe in you. So why isn't Mashiach coming? So he said, when your well springs are spread out. This is a sentence in Proverbs. When your well springs, when they are spread out, your well springs, chutza, outward. What type of well springs? What's he talking about? Un ervet kumen, as ervet kumen, that the Mashiach will come, when the kvel from the well springs, from Chassidut, of the teachings of Chassidut, Velen verspreid, will spread out. The Torah is called water. Water. The Torah is called water. And the source of the water, of course, the source of the Torah is God. And the source of the wisdom, which is the source of the Torah, that's called the wellspring, the godliness in the Torah. And the godliness in the Torah, that's the teachings of Chassidut. When these teachings of Chassidut, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, so come to the classes in the morning, or go to your local Chabad house and ask them what it is. When the teachings of Chassidut are spread out in Droisen outward, everything, in Torah, everything is hinted at in the Torah. Everything. Their Targum, their the Aramaic translation, Zocht says, okay, when the Torah was given, right? So there was Yonatan ben Uziel, and there was also Onkelos, was even before that. And they both translated the Torah. They translated the Torah. No, 1 second. That's right. Yonatan ben Uziel and Onkelos, they translated the Torah and into Aramaic. And both of them translated it with what they call divine inspiration. This was not just they weren't just scholars. They were interested in really bringing the Torah in its true form down to the people, to try to bring the Torah into the understanding of the simple people without compromising the godliness in the Torah. So the Targum, one of these translations says, Oifen on, Pasuk on the sentence, there's a sentence. This is in next week's Torah portion. Bnei Yisrael, the Jewish people, Yotz'im b'yad Ramah, they went out with an upraised hand. This is talking about the splitting of the sea, right? When the sea split, right before the sea split, the Jewish people, they went through the sea with an upraised hand. The Jews that were being pursued by the Egyptians, the poor Jews, they didn't have any weapons or anything, so they went out. When they saw that the Red Sea, the Yam Suf, whatever, the Sea of Reeds, so it split, so they went out with an upraised hand. The Targum for this is Beresh Gilei. Beresh, the word means a head, in the head. In the head, a proud head. Beresh Gilei, an upraised head. State in Sforim, it says in different books, as in the word Beresh, this word Beresh, which is Aramaic, for the head will be upraised, is Merumaz, is hinted at their Baal Shem Tov. Who is the one that's going to take the Jews out of this present Egypt, right? That song that they sang, the Jews sang, that was when they went out of Egypt back then, 3,000 whatever years ago. What we're talking about now, the redemption now, that's also going to be by the same factors, Beresh. and an upraised head. This hints at Beit Reish Yud Shin is Rebbe Yisrael ben Sora. Yisrael Yud ben Rabbi. I'm saying Rabbi Reish Yud ben Sora. That's the Baal Shem Tov's. Or you can also say the letters Rabbi Yisrael Baal Shem. Huh? So the going out of Egypt, therefore, there's a hint at that by the initials of the word Beresh, an Aramaic translation of going out with an upraised hand, means not just with an upraised hand, with an upraised hand, hinted at Rabbi Yisrael Baal Shem. In other words, Yisrael Baal Shem, the Baal Shem Tov, is going to be instrumental in the future going out of Egypt. Which statements, for instance, in other books, as in the word, and then this word Beresh is also hinted at Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Huh? Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Who was Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai? Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, he lived like 1,800 years ago, something like that, and he wrote the book called the Zohar. Beresh, this is the first letters of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. From the Zohar, that's the main book of Kabbalah in Judaism. The secrets of the Zohar. Most of the Zohar is totally understandable. Totally understandable, even though it's based on, the spiritual ideas and things like that. There's a couple of parts which are really, very esoteric. But except for that, it's understandable. But the purpose of the Zohar is to bring God into comprehension, a little bit at least, so that we see that God is not just some big, huge, totally incomprehensible angel or something that's really, really far away. And then once in a while, like in the Bible, he comes and he talks to people, but that's back then. This doesn't happen anymore. The Zohar is trying to tell us that God is speaking to us now more than ever. But we just have to understand, according to the Torah, how to understand this. God is infinitely close to us, but on the other hand, is infinitely mysterious. So that's Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. The Baal Shem Tov, he was only like 300 years ago, he got his ideas from Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. And also there's hinted between the Baal Shem Tov and Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, there was a man who lived 400 years ago, something like that, 400 years ago, and that was Rabbi Yitzchak Luria, the Arizal. Rabbi Yitzchak ben Shlomo, his father's name was Shlomo. Beresh. This is all hinted at the word Beresh. The Jewish people were not Beresh Geula with an upraised hand. It says Beresh means with a head that's upraised. Was Durach there because by means of these three people, the Baal Shem Tov, and before him, the Arizal, Rabbi Yitzchak Luria, he wrote the book, the Eitz Chaim. And before him, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai wrote the Zohar through the, one minute. Through the teachings of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and the Arizal, Vet Kuman will come the future redemption. Bnei Yisrael Yotzim Biyad Ramah, the Jewish people will go out with an upraised hand or with glory with it. Kiriyat Bezoar, like it says in the Zohar. Now listen to this. Hi Sefer Azohar, with this book of the Zohar, this is Elijah the prophet, is giving a message to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai from God. And he says, Hi Sefer Zohar, this book of the Zohar, Yifkon Bey, Elijah the prophet lived 1,000 years before Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. 1,000 years, 800 years, some 900 years. Hi Sefer Zohar, this book of the Zohar, Yifkon Bey will go out with it, me and Galuta from the exile, Barachamim with mercy. Mitem Sefer Zohar, with this book, the Zohar that you're writing, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, Vet Men Aroiski, and we can go out from exile in mercy. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, when Oichter Arizal, and also the Arizal, Rabbi Yitzchak Luria, Haben Doch Megala, they revealed Penimiyat the Torah, the inside of the Torah, nor to Yeshchiri Segula, but only to special people that were had the ability to accept from them. Und euch mit Hagbalas, and also when they revealed these secrets of the Torah, it was with very severe limitations. And that's not what we want. True, these were ideas that were never revealed to anybody about the oneness of God and the closeness of God, but they revealed it to only special certain people, deep, deep secrets of the inner workings of God. Not like human anatomy, how the heart works, how the lungs work. You give it to simple people, they could misuse the whole thing. Who knows? Moshiach, but the revelation of the Moshiach, but only to certain people was this revealed. The secrets of the Baal Shem Tov, of the Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and of the Arizal, Rabbi Yitzchak Luria. Gilui Moshiach, but the coming of the Moshiach, Vetach Zayin nor Ben Panim, is only when the inside of the Torah will be revealed in a way that's hafatza. That's what the Moshiach said to the Baal Shem Tov. When your deep secret ideas are revealed to everybody, on umatum, and everywhere, biz in chutz, until the most outer people, on their inyan had sich angenehmen, and this, when did this began? To spread out these ideas with the Baal Shem Tov. The ideas of the Baal Shem Tov was to take the secrets of the Torah and to spread them out. What's the advantage in that? And the advantage, we'll see in a moment, was Erat Oingeheb and Megalazan, where he began revealing Chassidut, the ideas of Chassidut, to everyone, without any limitations. Okay, what's going on here? What is Judaism? Judaism is the connection to God, connecting the world to God. What is God? Simply, God's the creator. So God creates everything, and also God makes everything come alive. And also God gives human beings responsibility. Oh, now things start to get a little bit complicated. Responsibility, we have to do exactly the right thing, and we have to do it in the right way, in the right time, with the right attitude. And we have to know who we're doing it for. We have to know who the boss is. So that's the idea, to serve God, right? To know I'm being created. Okay, I'm being created. So God created me to be a thief, so I'll be a thief. God created me to be a murderer. I'll be a murderer. God come in, right? Everything, God creates everything. So good, we'll believe in God, and then we can do what we want to. As soon as you start, now you don't have to know any secrets, you don't have to know anything, unless you might have to know secrets if you want to get more. So that's where sorcery comes in, magic comes in, these other religions. You want to get more. But if you really want to serve God, so you really have to understand what God is. Not just understand God is a piggy bank, what they call it. You just get, an ATM machine. You just do what you're supposed to. You put in the right card and you get what you receive. If you really are interested in serving God, then that's very difficult. You have to know exactly what God wants and how God wants it. And you also have to come to appreciate God. There's a commandment to love God, a commandment to fear God, not just to fear for yourself. So now you have to really start to understand things about God. Is it possible? In order to love God, you have to feel how precious God is. You can love God because he creates you. You can be a religious person. Say, I love God because you create me, because you did a lot of good things to us. You saved the Jewish people. We have a lot of good reasons to love God. But that's not really true love. It says you have to love God not just with all of your heart, with all of your soul, with all of your might. There's all these different levels of love. So there you have to understand something. Who brought it, made it possible that we could understand aspects of God himself. We're not talking about spirituality, God. That was begun by Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. And after that, almost 1,000 years later, was the Arizal. And after that, 100 years later, came the Baal Shem Tov. But the Baal Shem Tov, he started spreading these ideas out to everybody, without any limitation. Why is that? Because everybody is being created by God, and everyone has an obligation to return the favor. God's creating us. We could give him something back. He's saying, what happens if you don't give anything back? We see what happens. Nothing happens. But that's bad if nothing happens. Nothing happens means the world descends to where it is now. if you do what God says and what God wants, then the world becomes happier. It becomes a more, how do you say, a pleasure to wake up in the morning. It's God's world. Everything is a surprise. And that's what we want. We need these ideas of Chassidut to know how to serve God with happiness. In Torah is ultimate. Everything is exact. Is doch oich meduyak. It's also exact. This hint that the Rebbe Shimon Bar Yochai and the Arizal and the Baal Shem Tov, it comes in a not Hebrew word, nit in Lashon, not in the language of the sentence, but in a Targum, in the translation, Aramaic translation. Why Aramaic translation? Why? What happened? 1 second. 1 minute. What did I do over here? Oh, I see. Entire. Oh, I skipped the line. Pashtus HaKasuv, the simple meaning of the Torah. It says that the Jewish people went out with a yad ramah, with an upraised hand. In other words, with glory, they went out. Reddit Vegan is talking about Yetzias Mitzrayim, going out of Egypt. Nor Valgolas Mitzrayim, because the exile from Egypt, exile in Egypt is a shorish, it is a source of all of the other exiles that the Jewish people are going into. When Yetzias Mitzrayim, going out of Egypt, is a source from all the other redemptions, is in them. So therefore, in this sentence, the Jewish people, they went out with an upraised hand of going out of Egypt, is hinted at the future redemption also through the Moshiach. Oh, so this is not just a sentence that's talking about what was a long time ago, that we went out of Egypt and we went out with pride. And this is hinted at, for some reason, Beresh Gilei, it's hinted at in the Aramaic word. Yad Ramah is Resh Gilei, and Beresh hints at the Baal Shem Tov and the Arizal and the Rebbe Shimon Bar Yochai. It's a nice history story, very nice. You can impress your class, whether your teacher says the Rebbe, no. This is hinting at mainly the future redemption, which is supposed to be happening any second now. We have to be waiting for it and disappointed when it doesn't come. In Targum, in the Aramaic translation, is over the Geula, the future redemption is hinted at even more. Why? The Eber Zetzung from their Torah, the translation of the Torah from Hebrew, Lashon HaKodesh, the holy tongue, oif Gullus brush in an exile language, a foreign language, namely in this case Targum, in this case it's Aramaic, is given to Lib, was in order for them, was in Zaman Gullus, in the time of exile, haben nit alle verstanden, people didn't understand Lashon HaKodesh, they didn't understand Hebrew. Right, the Jewish people were taken to Babylon, and they didn't understand in Hebrew. All of them were there, and they were there for 70 years, a long time. So they got used to it. They started. This means as Durach Targum, by means of the Targum, by means of the translation, Hadman Mamshich, we could draw down the Torah in Hebrew, also into day-to-day, right, the holy language, into weekly language, non-Jewish language. As oich from chol, that even from the mundane, zolver and kodesh will be holy. That's what Targum does. Okay, so what are we doing over here? We have a sentence in the Torah that says the Jewish people went out of Egypt with an upraised hand. The Aramaic translation is Beresh Gilei, with a, how do you say, a glorious head. Beresh, an upraised head. Beresh means it with a head that's upraised. And this Beresh is an Aramaic word, but it hints at these three great people who were so very instrumental in bringing Moshiach. The Rebbe Shimon Bar Yochai wrote the Zohar, the Arizal, who wrote the Eitz Chaim, and the Baal Shem Tov that we gave to Chassidut. This is a preparation for the future redemption. Okay, by Geula, going out of Egypt, is the evil was geblieben betofo, it was powerful. This is relevant to this week's Torah portion, right? Was therefore, when the Jews left Egypt, haben die Yidden gedarft, antläufen, they had to run away from Egypt. Even after the 10 plagues, they had to run away. Ki borach ha'am, the people ran away. Andrish vet zayin, but it will be different in the future redemption. Was oiv demel, which then it says, vet ruach hatuma avir mina, or it says the spirit of impurity I will remove from the world. Ra and tuma vet done, evil and impurity will be in ganzen far schwein, they will be totally eradicated. And therefore, vetmen by them Geula, the future redemption, nit darfen anlev, you won't have to run away. Like it says, lo b'chipazun tetzeu, you won't have to go in a hurry. Uben menusa, and running away, lo telech, and you won't have to walk. This is a sentence from Isaiah, Yeshaya. Nor but Ra'u called Basu Yachta, but what will there be in the future redemption? All flesh will see together God. As Oich the Basu, that even the physical flesh here in this world will see godliness clearly. That's the future redemption. And thereby, and the Rebbe, and therefore, Davka in Targum, therefore in the Aramaic translation is hinted at the word Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Why? And the Arizal and the Baal Shem Tov, because their Torah had to be in a way of Yafutza Meine Techachutz. It had to be spread out. Nit ant lofen from chutz, nit ant lofen from chutz, not running away from the world, nor Adarab, exactly the opposite. Dort verspreiden, spreading Judaism, spreading the secrets into the world. The Mayanos from Panimis Torah. This is the preparation for the future redemption. In the future redemption, it won't be like going out of Egypt. Going out of Egypt, we had to run away from the bad, and God had to destroy the bad. He had all these plagues and everything, and as Egypt was decimated. It says that the Yam Suf at the sea, that all the soldiers, who knows how many there were, right? They were all drowned. I imagine there was even more than the Jewish people. I don't know. But let's say there was at very least, 100,000. There was 3 million Jews. How many? Egypt was totally decimated, was totally destroyed. That's how the Jews got out of Egypt. The future won't be that way. In the future, the world will not be destroyed. God will not bring any plagues. There won't be any difficulties. I mean, maybe some non-Jews will bring it on themselves, the ones that actively hate and try to destroy the Jewish nation. But I don't know how many there's going to be like that. I don't think there will be, personally. But we'll see. Hopefully there won't be any. Hopefully it's already finished all that. Nevertheless, how is this going to happen? Said that's what's going to happen because in going out of Egypt, the Jewish people had to run away from the bad. They had to run away from the world, from worldliness. But the future redemption, in the time of the Baal Shem Tov, that he began, the future redemption, he spread Judaism into the world, into the bad, into the non-Jews. And that's why it's hinted at in Aramaic, because Aramaic is the language of the non-Jews of the world. Therefore, the same thing is the Aramaic translation brings the holy tongue and the Torah into the mundane and outward. That's what he said. The Moshiach said, when your wellsprings, he said to the Baal Shem Tov, when your deep ideas are spread out, was durach them, which by means of this, there's going to be the future redemption. Okay, what has this got to do with the Rebbe Yud Shvat? Yud Shvat is the day that the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe passed away. What's it got to do with it? We'll see in one moment. The letters Beresh are also hinted at the previous Rebbe. How is that going to be? We'll see tomorrow. God bless you all. See you all tomorrow, 8:15, with Moshiach now.